The violin stopped. Not finished. Stopped. Jinwoo heard it before he saw anything. The kind of silence that doesn't belong in a room full of 200 people. His jaw tightened. He turned his head slowly toward the double doors at the back of the venue. 3 kids stood in the doorway. They weren't lost. They weren't crying. They just stood there, shoulder to shoulder, staring straight ahead like they'd been sent to deliver something no one wanted to hear. The one in the middle was a boy. Maybe 5 years old. Dark hair cut neat. His eyes locked onto Jinwoo from across the room and didn't move. Jinwoo's chest went cold. The kid didn't blink. Didn't fidget. Just watched him like he recognized something. Jinwoo. His fiancée's voice cut through the quiet. She was standing 3 feet away in her rehearsal dress, hands still raised from where she'd been adjusting her veil. Who are they? He didn't answer. Couldn't. Because behind the children, stepping into the light like she'd been waiting in the shadows for years, was Amara. She looked exactly the same. Same sharp cheekbones. Same way of standing like she didn't owe anyone an explanation. Her hair was longer now, pulled back tight. She wore a plain black coat and jeans. Nothing expensive. Nothing that screamed for attention. But every eye in the room found her anyway. Jinwoo's hand dropped to his side. His fingers curled into a fist without permission. She didn't smile. Didn't wave. Didn't apologize for the disruption. She just placed one hand on the shoulder of the boy in the middle and guided all 3 children forward, slow and deliberate, like she had every right to be there. The guests started whispering, low at first, then louder. Jinwoo's uncle stepped forward from the side of the room, his face already hardening. Who let them in? No one answered. Amara stopped 10 feet from the altar. The children stopped with her. Perfect formation. No hesitation. Jinwoo forced himself to breathe. His mind was racing, trying to calculate how long it had been. 4 years? 5. He'd stopped counting after the first year when she vanished without a word. He studied the kids again. 2 boys. 1 girl. They all had the same eyes. The same sharp nose. The same way of standing too still for children their age. The boy in the middle tilted his head slightly, still staring at Jinwoo. Then he smiled. Not a happy smile. Not nervous. Just knowing. Jinwoo's stomach dropped. Amara. His voice came out rougher than he intended. What are you doing here? She didn't answer right away. Just looked at him like she was deciding whether he deserved one. Then she glanced at his fiancé. At the flowers. At the mock altar draped in white silk. Her expression didn't change, but something flickered behind her eyes. I didn't come to stop anything, she said quietly. I came because they deserve to see you once. Jinwoo's fiancé stepped closer to him. See him? Who are these children? Amara's jaw tightened. She pulled the kids back slightly, protective. That's not a conversation for right now. Then when? Jinwoo's voice was sharper now. He took a step forward. You disappear for 5 years and show up at my wedding rehearsal with 3 kids, and you think. 4 years, Amara corrected. Her tone was flat. Final. And I didn't think anything. I knew. The room went silent again. Jinwoo felt his pulse hammering in his temples. He looked at the children again. Really looked this time. The girl on the left had his mother's mouth. The boy on the right had his build, even at that age. And the one in the middle had his eyes. Not similar. Exact. His throat went dry. No, he said under his breath. Amara heard him anyway. She didn't confirm it. Didn't deny it. Just stood there holding the children like they were the only thing keeping her upright. Jinwoo's fiancé grabbed his arm. Jinwoo, what is she talking about? He didn't answer. Couldn't look away from the boy. The kid's smile faded. He reached up and tugged on Amara's sleeve. Mama, can we go now? Mama. The word hit Jinwoo like a bullet. Amara bent down, whispering something to the boy. He nodded. Then she straightened and met Jinwoo's eyes one last time. I didn't come here to ruin your life, she said. I came to give you a chance to see theirs. She turned. Wait. Jinwoo's voice cracked. She paused but didn't turn back around. Are they? He couldn't finish the sentence. Amara's shoulders tensed. For a second, he thought she might actually answer. But then the boy in the middle looked back over his shoulder at Jinwoo one more time. And Jinwoo saw it. Not just the eyes. Not just the nose. The scar. The same scar Jinwoo had on his left temple from a fall when he was 6. Faint. Barely visible unless you knew to look for it. The boy had it in the exact same spot. Jinwoo's knees almost gave out. Amara walked the children toward the door. No one stopped her. No one moved. And as the door closed behind them, Jinwoo realized the past didn't return quietly. It arrived intact. Jinwoo didn't move. He stood there staring at the door like it might open again. Like she might come back and explain. Like any of this made sense. His fiancée's voice cut through the fog. Jinwoo. He turned. Her face was pale. Guests were still frozen in place, watching him like he'd just confessed to something. Who was that woman? She asked again. Jinwoo opened his mouth. Nothing came out. His uncle stepped between them, voice low and sharp. Everyone out. Now. The room emptied fast. Whispers followed people through the doors. Jinwoo caught fragments as they passed. Did you see those kids? She didn't even apologize. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. The last guest left. The door clicked shut. Silence pressed down like weight. His fiancée crossed her arms. I'm not asking again. Jinwoo exhaled slow. Someone I used to know. Used to know. Her voice climbed. She walked in here with 3 children and said they deserved to see you. What does that mean? I don't know. You're lying. He wasn't. Not completely. He didn't know why Amara came. Didn't know why she brought them. But the scar on that boy's face, that wasn't coincidence. His uncle moved closer. You need to find out who those kids belong to. I will. Tonight. Jinwoo nodded. His hands were still shaking. He shoved them in his pockets. His fiancée stared at him for a long moment. Then she turned and walked toward the dressing room without another word. Jinwoo waited until she was gone. Then he pulled out his phone and dialed. Marcus picked up on the second ring. Boss, I need you to find someone. Ooh, Amara. Silence. You sure? Marcus asked carefully. Yes. Where do I start? Anywhere. Everywhere. I don't care. Just find her. He hung up before Marcus could ask anything else. 20 minutes later, Jinwoo sat alone in the empty hall. The chairs were still arranged in neat rows. The flowers were still perfect. Everything looked exactly like it had an hour ago. Except nothing felt the same. He kept seeing that boy's face. The way he smiled. The way he looked at Jinwoo like he already knew something Jinwoo was just starting to figure out. His phone buzzed. Marcus found her. She's staying at a motel off Route 9. Room 14. Been there 3 days. Jinwoo stared at the message. 3 days. She'd been in town for 3 days and didn't reach out. Didn't call. Didn't warn him. Just showed up. He typed back. Anything else? Marcus. Kids are registered under her name. Birth certificates say she's the mother. No father listed. Jinwoo's chest tightened. Marcus. All 3 have the same birthday. Quadruplets maybe? No. Triplets. They're 4 years old. For years. Jinwoo did the math in his head. Counted backward. Landed on a night he'd tried not to think about for a long time. The night before she disappeared. His phone buzzed again. Marcus, boss, there's something else. Jinwoo waited. Marcus. All 3 kids have middle names. Same one. Jinwoo frowned. What is it? Marcus didn't answer right away. When the message came through, Jinwoo felt the air leave his lungs. Marcos. Taehyung. Jinwoo's middle name. He dropped the phone. It clattered against the floor. Screen face up. Marcus's message still glowing. Jinwoo stood. Walked to the window. Pressed his forehead against the glass. She named them after him. All 3. That wasn't a coincidence. That wasn't her being sentimental. That was a message. And he'd missed it for 4 years. His fiancée returned an hour later. She didn't sit. Just stood near the door with her arms crossed. I talked to your uncle, she said. Jinwoo turned. He thinks you should cancel the wedding. What? He thinks this is a distraction. A threat. He doesn't know which yet, but he wants you to handle it before we move forward. Jinwoo stared at her. And what do you think? She didn't answer right away. Just looked at him like she was seeing someone different. I think you're not telling me the truth, she said quietly. And I think those kids look too much like you for it to be an accident. Jinwoo's jaw tightened. I didn't know. Didn't know what? That she was pregnant. That she had them. Any of it. His fiancée's expression didn't change. But you knew her. Yes. How well? Jinwoo didn't answer. She nodded slowly. That's what I thought. She turned toward the door. Wait. She stopped but didn't look back. I'm going home. When you figure out what you want, call me. The door closed behind her. Jinwoo stood alone again. His phone buzzed one more time. Marcus, she's leaving tomorrow morning. Early flight. Destination unknown. Jinwoo grabbed his jacket and keys. He was halfway to the motel before he realized he had no idea what he was going to say. No plan. No script. Just the memory of a boy's face and a name he hadn't heard spoken out loud in years. Taehyung. His name. Their name. And if he didn't move fast, he'd lose the only chance he had to understand why. Jinwoo pulled into the motel parking lot at 11:30. The place was barely standing. Cracked asphalt. Flickering neon sign missing 2 letters. The kind of spot people stayed when they didn't want to be found. Room 14 was on the ground floor. Lights off. He sat in the car for 10 minutes. Engine running. Hands on the wheel. What was he supposed to say? Are they mine? Stupid question. He already knew. Why didn't you tell me? Even dumber. She had her reasons. She always did. He turned off the engine. Got out. Walked to the door. Knocked twice. Nothing. He knocked again. Harder this time. The curtain moved. Just an inch. Someone peeked through. Then the door opened. Amara stood in the gap. She didn't look surprised. Didn't look relieved. Just tired. I figured you'd show up, she said. Jinwoo's throat was dry. We need to talk. Not here. Then where? She glanced back into the room. He followed her eyes. Saw 3 small shapes bundled under blankets on the bed. Asleep. There's a diner 2 blocks south, she said quietly. Meet me there in 20 minutes. She closed the door before he could argue. Jinwoo got to the diner first. Ordered coffee he didn't drink. Sat in a booth near the back. Watched the door. Amara walked in exactly 20 minutes later. Hair still pulled back. Same black coat. She slid into the seat across from him without a word. The waitress came over. Amara ordered tea. Didn't touch the menu. They sat in silence until the waitress left. Why now? Jinwoo asked. Amara folded her hands on the table. Because they're old enough to ask questions. What kind of questions? The kind I can't answer alone anymore. Jinwoo leaned forward. You could have called. Sent a message. Anything. And say what? Her voice didn't rise, but there was steel underneath. Hi, remember me? I'm raising your kids in a studio apartment 3 states away. Thought you should know. Yes. Exactly that. She laughed. Sharp. Bitter. You don't get it. Then explain. Amara's jaw tightened. She looked out the window. Watched cars pass. Took her time. When she finally spoke, her voice was quieter. Colder. For years ago, I followed you. Jinwoo went still. I thought you were working late, she continued. You'd been distant. Distracted. I wanted to make sure you were okay. He didn't interrupt. I saw you go into that warehouse on the east side. The one near the docks. She paused. I waited outside. 20 minutes. Then I heard the gunshot. Jinwoo's blood turned to ice. I didn't run, she said. I should have. But I didn't. I stayed. Watched the door. And when you came out. She finally looked at him. You weren't alone. He remembered that night. The deal gone bad. The man who tried to double-cross him. The cleanup crew Marcus brought in. He thought no one saw. I watched you wipe your hands, Amara said. I watched you get in the car like nothing happened. And I realized I didn't know you at all. Jinwoo's hands clenched under the table. Amara. I went home that night and threw up for an hour, she cut him off. Then I took a pregnancy test. The words hit him like a freight train. It was positive, she said. All 3 of them. I found out 2 days later it was triplets. Jinwoo couldn't breathe. I had 2 choices, Amara continued. Tell you and hope you'd protect us. Or disappear and know we'd be safe. I would have protected you. No. Her voice was firm. You would have tried. And the people you work for would have noticed. They would have asked questions. And the second they figured out I saw what I saw, we'd all be dead. Jinwoo opened his mouth, closed it. Because she was right. His world didn't allow witnesses. Didn't allow loose ends. And Amara with 3 kids? That was leverage. A weakness someone could exploit. She'd figured it out faster than he wanted to admit. So I left, she said. Changed my name. Moved 6 times in 4 years. Kept my head down. Raised them alone. Why come back now? Because they're asking about their father. Her voice cracked just slightly. And I can't keep lying. Jinwoo stared at her. What did you tell them? That he's far away. That he's busy. That he loves them even though he can't be here. Do they believe you? David doesn't. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. He's too smart. Looks just like you. Acts like you too. Notices everything. Jinwoo swallowed hard. The boy in the middle. Yeah. He has my scar. Amara nodded. Fell off the bed when he was 2. Split his head open in the same spot. Jinwoo felt something crack inside his chest. They're alive because you weren't there, Amara said quietly. I need you to understand that. He did. And it destroyed him. What happens now, he asked. I don't know. She stood. But I'm leaving tomorrow. And I'm not coming back. Amara. You have a wedding to finish, she said. A life to live. Don't throw it away for something you can't fix. She walked toward the door. Jinwoo stayed frozen in the booth. The math didn't allow denial anymore. Those kids were his. And he'd missed everything. Jinwoo didn't sleep. He sat in his car outside the motel until sunrise. Watched the door. Waited. At 6:30, Amara came out with the kids. They were dressed in matching jackets. Small backpacks on their shoulders. The girl held Amara's hand. The 2 boys walked beside her, quiet and obedient. Jinwoo ducked lower in his seat. Amara loaded them into a cab. It pulled away heading south. He followed. The cab stopped at a park 15 minutes later. Jinwoo parked across the street. Watched Amara pay the driver. Watched her guide the kids toward the playground. It was early. Almost empty. Just a few joggers and 1 old man feeding pigeons. The kids didn't run wild like most children. They stayed close. Moved as a unit. Amara sat on a bench near the swings. Pulled out a thermos. Poured something into a cup. The girl climbed onto the swing. Started pumping her legs. The taller boy pushed her gently from behind. David stood apart. Hands in his pockets. Watching the trees. Jinwoo got out of the car. He crossed the street slowly. Kept his distance. Stopped near a lamppost 20 feet from the bench. Amara saw him immediately. She didn't call out. Didn't wave him away. Just looked at him for a long moment. Then turned back to the kids. Permission. Jinwoo moved closer. David noticed him first. The boy's head turned. Eyes locked on. He didn't smile this time. Just studied Jinwoo like he was trying to solve something. Jinwoo stopped 10 feet away. David tilted his head. You're the man from yesterday. Jinwoo's throat tightened. Yeah. Why are you here? Honest question. No fear. Just curiosity. I wanted to see you again. Jinwoo said carefully. David considered that. Why? Jinwoo glanced at Amara. She didn't help. Just watched. Because I think I know you, Jinwoo said. David frowned. We never met before yesterday. I know. The boy walked closer. Stopped 3 feet away. Looked up at Jinwoo with those eyes that were too familiar. You look sad, David said. Jinwoo blinked. What? You look sad. The boy pointed at Jinwoo's face. Like my mom when she thinks we're asleep. Jinwoo felt something break in his chest. I'm okay, he lied. David didn't look convinced. Adults say that when they're not. Jinwoo almost smiled. Almost. The girl on the swing called out. David, come push me higher. David glanced back at her. Then at Jinwoo. Do you want to push her? Jinwoo hesitated. She likes going high, David added. But Marcus can't push hard enough. Marcus. My brother. David pointed at the taller boy. He's scared she'll fall. Jinwoo looked at Amara again. She still didn't move. Didn't stop him. He followed David to the swings. The girl looked at him. Big brown eyes. Hair in 2 braids. She didn't seem afraid. Hi, she said. Hi, Jinwoo managed. What's your name? He paused. Jinwoo. She smiled. That's a long name. You can call me Jean if you want. Okay, Jean. She kicked her legs. Can you push me? David's not strong enough. David rolled his eyes. I pushed you fine yesterday, Kira. Kira. The girl's name was Kira. Jinwoo stepped behind the swing. Put his hands on the seat. Pushed gently. She laughed. Harder. He pushed harder. She went higher. Laughed louder. Marcus walked over. The taller boy. Quieter. He stood beside Jinwoo and watched. You're good at this, Marcus said. Jinwoo glanced at him. Thanks. Do you have kids? The question gutted him. No, Jinwoo said. Marcus nodded. My mom says some people don't get to have them. That's sad. Jinwoo's hand slipped. The swing wobbled. Kira yelped. Sorry. Jinwoo steadied it quickly. David was watching him again. Closer now. Like he was putting pieces together. You have the same scar as me, David said suddenly. Jinwoo froze. David pointed at his own temple. Right here. See. Jinwoo touched the faint line on his own face. Yeah, I see it. How do you get yours? Fell when I was little. Me too. David grinned. Mom says I'm clumsy. You're not clumsy, Kira called from the swing. You just don't pay attention. David stuck his tongue out at her. Jinwoo felt his chest tighten again. Watching them. The way they moved. The way they talked. The way they existed like pieces of him he didn't know were missing. Marcus tugged on Jinwoo's sleeve. Are you crying? Jinwoo wiped his face quickly. No. You are. Marcus frowned. Did we make you sad? No. Jinwoo's voice cracked. You didn't. David stepped closer. Put a small hand on Jinwoo's arm. It's okay to be sad sometimes. Jinwoo looked down at him. The boy didn't look away. My mom cries when she thinks we're asleep, David said quietly. I hear her. She tries to be quiet, but I always hear. Jinwoo's knees almost buckled. Does she cry a lot? He asked. David nodded. Every night. Kira stopped swinging. Slid off the seat. Walked over and hugged Jinwoo's leg without warning. Don't be sad, she said. We're here now. Jinwoo couldn't speak. Marcus joined the hug. Then David. 3 kids he'd never met. Holding on to him like they'd known him their whole lives. And across the playground, Amara sat on the bench with her thermos, watching. She wasn't crying. But her hands were shaking. The children already saw what the adults refused to say. Jinwoo sat across from Amara in the same diner. The kids were back at the motel with a babysitter Amara hired for 2 hours. She paid cash. Didn't give a name. Jinwoo's coffee was cold. He hadn't touched it. I need the truth, he said. Amara stared at him. You already know the truth. Not all of it. She leaned back. Crossed her arms. What do you want me to say? Why you really left? His voice was steady. Controlled. Not the version you told me last night. The real one. Amara's jaw tightened. I already told you. You saw me kill someone. I get that. But you loved me. Jinwoo leaned forward. People don't just walk away from love because they're scared. They walk away because they have to. She didn't answer. So tell me, he pressed. What made you have to? Amara looked out the window. Watched the street. Her fingers drummed against the table. Finally she spoke. I didn't just see you that night, she said quietly. I followed you for 3 days before that. Jinwoo went still. I knew something was wrong, she continued. You were pulling away. Staying out late. Coming home with blood on your shirts you thought I didn't notice. She turned back to him. So I followed you. Amara. The first night, I saw you meet with 6 men in suits. They handed you a briefcase. You handed them keys. She paused. The second night, I saw you burn documents in a barrel behind your warehouse. Jinwoo's stomach dropped. The third night, she said, voice colder now, I saw you put a gun to a man's head and pull the trigger. Silence. I stood there for 20 minutes after you left, Amara said. I watched your people drag the body into a van. Watched them hose down the floor. Watched them leave like nothing happened. Jinwoo's hands curled into fists under the table. I went home, she said. Sat on the bathroom floor. And I realized I had 2 options. Pretend I didn't see it and stay. Or leave and survive. You could have talked to me. And say what? Her voice rose slightly. Hey, I know you're in the mafia. Let's work through it. I would have explained. There's nothing to explain. She cut him off. You kill people, Jin-woo. That's not something you explain away. Jin-woo's chest tightened. It's not that simple. It is to me. They sat in silence. Amara exhaled slowly. I took the pregnancy test 2 days later. Saw 3 heartbeats on the ultrasound a week after that. Jin-woo's throat closed. And I knew, she said. If I stayed, they'd become targets. People would use them to control you. Or worse, they'd grow up thinking your world was normal. I could have protected you. No. Her voice was firm. You couldn't. Because protection in your world means putting them in a cage. Guards. Security. Watching their backs for the rest of their lives. She shook her head. That's not protection. That's prison. Jin-woo wanted to argue. Couldn't. Because she was right. I left because I wanted them to be free, Amara said. Free to go to parks. Make friends. Live normal lives. They can't do that if everyone knows they're yours. They already are mine. Only if you claim them. The words hung in the air. Jin-woo stared at her. What does that mean? Amara leaned forward. It means you have a choice. Walk away and let them stay hidden. Or step into their lives and put a target on their backs. That's not fair. Life's not fair. Her eyes didn't waver. But it's the only choice you get. Jin-woo's hands shook. You're asking me to abandon them. I'm asking you to let them live. They deserve to know me. They deserve to be safe. Amara's voice cracked. And they can't be both. Not with you. Jin-woo felt rage build in his chest. Not at her. At the situation. At the world he'd built that wouldn't let him have this. I didn't ask for this, he said through clenched teeth. Neither did I. Amara's voice softened. But here we are. Jin-woo looked down at his hands. Scarred. Stained. Hands that built an empire and destroyed anything that threatened it. Hands that would never hold his children safely. What if I left? He asked quietly. Amara frowned. Left what? Everything. The business. The territory. All of it. She stared at him. You can't just leave. Why not? Because people like you don't get to walk away. You know that. People like me. Jin-woo laughed bitterly. You mean monsters? I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Amara reached across the table. Touched his hand. You're not a monster, Jin-woo. But you're not free either. He looked at her hand on his. Warm. Real. I was free once, he said. With you. That was a long time ago. Doesn't mean it wasn't real. Amara pulled her hand back. It doesn't matter anymore. It matters to me. Then prove it. She stood. Figure out what you want more. Your empire or your family. Because you can't have both. She walked toward the door. Jin-woo stood. Amara. She stopped. Didn't turn around. They're alive because you weren't there, she said. Remember that. The door closed behind her. Jin-woo stood alone in the diner. His phone buzzed. Marcus, your uncle's asking questions. Says the wedding's off until you handle this. Jin-woo stared at the message. Then he typed back 4 words. Tell him it's permanent. Jin-woo walked into his uncle's office at midnight. The old man was waiting, sitting behind a mahogany desk that cost more than most people made in a year. Cigar smoke hung thick in the air. 3 other men sat in chairs along the wall. All elders. All watching Jin-woo like he'd just committed treason. Sit, his uncle said. Jin-woo stayed standing. His uncle's eyes narrowed. I said sit. Jin-woo pulled out the chair. Saturday. You called off the wedding, his uncle said. Not a question. A statement. Yes. Without consulting me. I don't need permission. One of the elders laughed. Sharp. Mocking. You think you're independent now? Jin-woo turned to him. I think I made a decision about my own life. Your life. The elder leaned forward. You don't have a life, boy. You have a position. A responsibility. And you just threw it away for what? A woman and 3 bastards. Jin-woo's fists clenched. His uncle raised a hand. Silence fell. Tell me about the children, his uncle said calmly. Jinwoo hesitated. Don't lie to me, his uncle warned. I already know most of it. I want to hear it from you. Jinwoo exhaled. They're mine. The room went still. You're sure? His uncle asked. Yes. How long have you known? 2 days. His uncle leaned back, tapped ash from his cigar. And the mother? Someone I knew before. She disappeared 4 years ago. Because she saw something she shouldn't have. Jinwoo froze. His uncle smiled. You think I don't have eyes on you? I've known about her for 3 days. Since she checked into that motel. Jinwoo's blood ran cold. You had her followed? Of course. His uncle's tone was casual. Easy. Like he was discussing the weather. I wanted to know what kind of threat she posed. She's not a threat. She witnessed a kill. That makes her a liability. She's the mother of my children. Which makes her a bigger liability. His uncle stood. Walked around the desk. Do you know what happens to men like us when we have families, Jinwoo? Jinwoo didn't answer. We get soft, his uncle continued. We make compromises. We hesitate when we shouldn't. And the second our enemies see that weakness, they strike. I'm not weak. You canceled your wedding for a woman you haven't seen in 4 years. His uncle's voice hardened. That's not strength. That's stupidity. One of the elders spoke up. Do you remember Lee Sang-min? Jinwoo frowned. Vaguely. He ran the docks 20 years ago. Ruthless. Smart. Built an empire in 5 years. The elder paused. Then he fell in love. Had a daughter. Started making decisions based on what was safe for her instead of what was smart for business. Jinwoo's stomach tightened. His rivals figured it out fast, the elder continued. Kidnapped the girl. Held her for ransom. Lee paid everything they asked. Dismantled half his operation to get her back. Did he? The elder shook his head. They sent her back in pieces. Silence. Lee lost his mind, the elder said. Went on a killing spree. Burned half the city trying to find the people responsible. Got himself killed 3 months later. Jinwoo's jaw tightened. Another elder spoke. Then there was Park Ji-hoon. He kept his family secret for years. Wife and 2 sons hidden in the countryside. Thought he was being smart. What happened? Jinwoo asked quietly. Someone found them anyway. Killed all 3 in front of him. Made him watch. The elder's voice was flat. Park hung himself the next day. Jinwoo felt sick. His uncle walked closer. Stopped 2 feet away. You think your story will be different? I'll protect them. You can't. His uncle's voice was hard. Final. Not in this life. You either choose the empire or you choose them. There's no middle ground. Then I choose them. The room erupted. You're insane. He's lost his mind. This is exactly what I warned you about. His uncle raised his hand again. Silence returned. If you walk away, his uncle said slowly, you don't just lose your position. You lose everything. Protection. Resources. Connections. You'll be alone. I'll manage. Will you? His uncle tilted his head. Because the people who come after you won't just want revenge. They'll want to make an example. And the easiest way to do that is through your children. Jinwoo's chest tightened. They'll find them, his uncle continued. No matter where you hide them. No matter how careful you are. And when they do, they'll make you watch while they destroy everything you love. Jinwoo stood. Then I'll make sure no one finds them. How? By becoming the thing they're afraid of. His uncle laughed. You think fear will protect them? No. Jinwoo's voice was ice. But power will. His uncle studied him for a long moment. You're making a mistake. Maybe. Jinwoo turned toward the door. But it's mine to make. If you walk out that door, his uncle called after him, the engagement is permanent. You're out. No coming back. Jinwoo stopped. Turned. Looked his uncle in the eye. Good. He walked out. Behind him, one of the elders spoke. He just declared war on himself. His uncle said nothing. Just watched the door close. And smiled. Jinwoo made it to his car before the first call came. Unknown number. He answered anyway. You just made the dumbest decision of your life. The voice was distorted. Mechanical. Walking away doesn't make you noble. It makes you pray. The line went dead. Jin-woo sat in the driver's seat. Engine off. Hands on the wheel. His phone rang again. Different number. Same mechanical voice. We know where she's staying. Room 14. Ground floor. Easy access. Jin-woo's blood turned to ice. Touch them and I'll burn your entire operation to the ground, he said. Laughter. Cold. Hollow. You don't have an operation anymore. Remember? The line went dead again. Jin-woo threw the phone against the dashboard. It cracked but didn't break. He started the car. Drove to the motel. Amara's room was dark when he arrived. He knocked. No answer. Knocked harder. The door opened. Amara stood there in a hoodie and sweatpants. Eyes tired. Confused. What are you doing here? She asked. Pack your things. Now. What? They know where you are. Jin-woo pushed past her into the room. The kids were asleep, bundled together on one bed. We need to move. Tonight. Amara grabbed his arm. Who knows? Everyone. Jin-woo turned to her. I walked away. That makes you vulnerable. You walked away from what? Everything. Amara's face went pale. Jin-woo, what did you do? What I had to. You can't just. I already did. He moved to the closet. Started pulling out their bags. How much can you carry? Jin-woo, stop. We don't have time. Stop. She grabbed the bag from his hands. You don't get to blow up your life and mine without asking. I'm trying to protect you. By making us targets? Her voice rose. They weren't looking for us before. Now they are. Because of you. Jin-woo froze. She was right. I had it handled, Amara said. For years. No problems. No threats. We were invisible. You were alone. And we were safe. She threw the bag on the bed. Now you've painted a target on all of us. Jin-woo's jaw tightened. I'm fixing it. How? He didn't answer. Amara stepped closer. Jin-woo. How? By making sure no one ever threatens you again. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. David stirred on the bed. Opened his eyes. Looked at Jin-woo. Why are you here? The boy asked sleepily. Jin-woo's throat tightened. Just checking on you. David sat up. Are we in trouble? No. You're lying. David's voice was small but certain. Mom only looks scared when we're in trouble. Amara knelt beside the bed. We're fine, baby. Go back to sleep. David didn't move. Just looked at Jin-woo. Are you going to keep us safe? The question broke something in Jin-woo's chest. Yes, he said. Promise. Jin-woo crouched down. Met the boy's eyes. I promise. David studied him for a long moment. Then nodded. Laid back down. Amara walked Jin-woo to the door. You can't promise things you can't control, she said quietly. I'll figure it out. And if you don't? Jin-woo looked at her. Then I'll die trying. Amara's eyes filled with something he couldn't name. That's not comforting. It's all I've got. She reached up, touched his face. You're going to get yourself killed. Maybe. And us with you. No. His voice was steel. That won't happen. You don't know that. Ido. He covered her hand with his. Because I won't let it. She pulled away. You should go. Jin-woo hesitated, then nodded. He made it to the parking lot before his phone rang again. Same mechanical voice. Touching really. But promises don't stop bullets. Jin-woo's grip tightened on the phone. Who is this? Someone who wants to see how far you'll go. Pause. Word of advice? Start running. Because we're already moving. The line went dead. Jin-woo got in his car. Called Marcus. Boss. I need you to do something for me. Anything. Get a message to every crew in the city. Every rival. Every contact. What message? Jin-woo's voice went cold. Anyone who touches Amara or those kids dies. No negociations. No merci. Just death. Silence. Boss, Marcus said carefully. You don't have the muscle to back that up anymore. I don't need muscle. I need fear. Fear only works if people believe you'll follow through. They will. How? Jin-woo stared at the motel. At the dark window where his children slept. Because I'm about to prove it. He hung up, pulled up a contact he hadn't used in 2 years. The phone rang twice before someone answered. I didn't think I'd hear from you again, the voice said. I need a favor, Jinwoo said. I don't do favors. You will for this. Pause. What do you need? Names. Everyone who's planning to move against me. That's a long list. Then start writing. The voice laughed. This is going to cost you. I don't care. You should, because what you're asking for starts a war. Jinwoo looked at the motel one last time. Good, he said. Let it start. He hung up. Choosing love had declared war. And Jinwoo was ready to burn everything down. Jinwoo spent 3 days making calls. Old contacts. Retired soldiers. People who owed him favors from years ago when his name still carried weight. Most of them laughed. Some hung up. A few listened. By the 4th day he had 12 names. 12 people willing to move against him. 12 threats he needed to eliminate before they found Amara. He sat in his apartment staring at the list. His phone rang. Marcus. Boss, we have a problem. Jinwoo's stomach tightened. What kind? Your uncle put a price on the woman. The room tilted. How much? Jinwoo asked quietly. $500,000. Dead or alive? Jinwoo closed his eyes. When? 2 hours ago. Words already spreading. Where is she? Still at the motel. I've got 2 guys watching from a distance. No movement yet. Get her out of there. Now. Where do I take her? Jinwoo thought fast. The safe house on Mill Street. The one no one knows about. That's your emergency location. I don't care. Move her. What about you? Jinwoo stood. Grabbed his jacket. I'm going to see my uncle. Boss, that's suicide. Maybe. Jinwoo hung up. He made it to his uncle's estate in 20 minutes. The gates were open. Guards stood at attention but didn't stop him. They were expecting him. Jinwoo walked through the front door. His uncle sat in the same office. Same chair. Same cigar. I wondered how long it would take, his uncle said. Jinwoo closed the door behind him. Call it off. Call what off? The bounty. His uncle smiled. I don't know what you're talking about. $500,000. Dead or alive. You put it out 2 hours ago. Did I? His uncle tapped ash into a tray. Memories getting fuzzy in my old age. Jinwoo stepped closer. This isn't a game. You're right. It's a lesson. His uncle stood. You think you can walk away from this life and nothing happens? You think there are no consequences? She has nothing to do with this. She has everything to do with this. She's your weakness. And weakness gets exploited. Jinwoo's hands curled into fists. I'm warning you. You're warning me? His uncle laughed. Boy, you have no power here anymore. No crew. No territory. No respect. You're a ghost. Then ghosts have nothing to lose. His uncle's smile faded. Are you threatening me? I'm telling you what happens if anyone touches them. And what's that? Jinwoo leaned forward. Voice low. Deadly. I dismantle everything you've built. Every deal. Every route. Every alliance. I burn it all down and make sure your name becomes a warning instead of a legacy. His uncle stared at him. You don't have the resources. I have the information. That's enough. Silence. His uncle's jaw tightened. You're bluffing. Try me. They stood there, eye to eye, neither moving. Finally, his uncle sat back down. You've changed. You made me this way. No. She made you weak. There's a difference. Jinwoo turned toward the door. I'm not calling it off, his uncle said. Jinwoo stopped. But I'll give you 24 hours, his uncle continued. Get her out of the city. Disappear. Stay gone. And maybe I'll forget she exists. And if I don't, then you'll watch her die. Slowly. And those kids will grow up knowing their father chose pride over protection. Jinwoo walked out without another word. He went straight to the safe house. Marcus met him at the door. She's inside. Kids are asleep upstairs. Jinwoo nodded. Walked in. Amara sat on the couch. Arms crossed. Eyes red. Your guy wouldn't tell me what's happening, she said. Jinwoo sat across from her. You need to leave the city. Why? Because my uncle put a price on your head. Amara went pale. How much? Doesn't matter. What matters is you're not safe here anymore. I was safe before you showed up. The words cut deep. Jin-woo didn't argue. I have a contact in Seattle. He'll set you up with new identities. New location. Everything you need to disappear. For how long? Forever. Amara's voice cracked. What about you? I'll handle things here. That's not an answer. Jin-woo looked at his hands. I'm going to end this. How? By making sure no one ever comes after you again. Amara stood, walked to the window, stared out at the street. You're going to die, aren't you? She asked quietly. Jin-woo didn't answer. She turned, tears streaming down her face. You're going to throw your life away and leave them without a father. They never had one. They could. Her voice broke. If you just ran with us. If you just. I can't. Why not? Because running doesn't end this. It just delays it. Jin-woo stood, walked to her. The only way they're safe is if I eliminate the threat completely. And you think dying does that? I think erasing the people who want to hurt you does. Amara grabbed his face, forced him to look at her. I didn't come back so you could kill yourself. Then why did you come back? Because they needed to see you. Once. So they'd know you were real. Jin-woo's chest tightened. Do they? David does. She smiled through tears. He asked me this morning if you were coming back. What did you tell him? I said I didn't know. Jin-woo pulled her close, held her. Tell him I'm sorry. For what? For not being there. For not being better. For all of it. Amara sobbed into his chest. Upstairs, the door opened. Small footsteps on the stairs. David appeared. Hair messy. Eyes half open. Mom, he called. Amara pulled away. Wiped her face. I'm here, baby. David walked down. Saw Jin-woo. Stopped. Are you leaving again? The boy asked. Jin-woo crouched down. Yeah. When are you coming back? Jin-woo's throat closed. He couldn't lie. Not to those eyes. I don't know, he said. David walked forward. Hugged him. Jin-woo held the boy. Memorized the feeling. The weight. The warmth. I love you, David whispered. Jin-woo's world shattered. I love you too, he managed. David pulled back. Looked at him. Then don't go. Jin-woo's hands shook. But he stood anyway. Walked to the door. Looked back one last time. Amara held David. Both of them crying. And Jin-woo understood. There was no version where he survived clean. But they could. Jin-woo didn't sleep that night. He sat in his car outside the safe house until dawn. Watched the windows. Made sure no one approached. At 6 a.m., Marcus pulled up beside him. They're moving in an hour, Marcus said through the window. Private car. Straight to the airport. New passports ready. Jin-woo nodded. What about you? Marcus asked. I have work to do. Marcus frowned. What kind of work? Jin-woo handed him an envelope. Instructions. Follow them exactly. Marcus opened it. Read. His face went white. Boss, this is necessary. This is suicide. No. Jin-woo started his engine. This is insurance. He drove away before Marcus could argue. First stop, the docks. Jin-woo walked into the warehouse where his uncle stored shipments worth millions. Guns, drugs, electronics, everything that kept the empire running. 2 guards stood at the entrance. Boss, one of them said, confused. You're not supposed to be here. Jin-woo shot them both. Silenced rounds. Clean. Quick. He stepped over their bodies. Walked to the storage area. Found the main shipment scheduled to move that afternoon. He opened the containers. Photographed everything. Serial numbers. Manifests. Routes. Then he made a call. Federal tip line. I have information about illegal shipments at Dock 7, he said. Gave them exact coordinates. Hung up before they could trace it. He walked out. Set a timer on his phone. 30 minutes until the feds arrived. Second stop. The casino. His uncle's cash operation. Millions laundered every week through poker tables and slot machines. Jin-woo walked in through the back entrance. Bypassed security with codes he'd memorized years ago. Found the counting room. For men inside. Stacks of cash on tables. They looked up when he entered. What are you doing here? One asked. Jinwoo didn't answer. Just walked to the safe. Entered the combination. It opened. Inside ledgers. Account numbers. Names of every politician and judge on his uncle's payroll. Jinwoo took photos of everything. Boss, you can't. Jinwoo turned. Gun raised. The men froze. Leave, he said. They ran. Jinwoo uploaded the photos to 3 different servers. Encrypted. Time delayed release. 48 hours from now, every news outlet in the city would have proof of corruption that went all the way to the mayor's office. He walked out. Left the safe open. Let them see what was missing. Third stop. The routes. His uncle controlled 6 major smuggling corridors, each one worth millions annually. Jinwoo made 6 calls. To rivals. To competitors. To anyone who'd ever wanted to take territory from his family. He gave them everything. Maps. Schedules. Guard rotations. Weak points. Why are you doing this? One of them asked. Because I'm done, Jinwoo said. And I'm taking it all with me. By noon, 3 of the routes were under attack. His phone started ringing. His uncle. 10 times in a row. Jinwoo ignored every call. Fourth stop. The accounts. Jinwoo sat in a coffee shop with a laptop. Access codes his uncle thought were secret. Bank accounts spread across 4 countries. He didn't steal the money. He froze it. Every account. Every dollar. Locked behind encryption his uncle's people would need weeks to crack. Then he transferred 10 million to a shell company. Untraceable. Earmarked for Amara and the kids. They'd never have to worry about money again. Even if he never came back. His phone rang. Not his uncle this time. Unknown number. He answered. You're making a lot of noise, the mechanical voice said. Jinwoo recognized it. Same voice from before. Same distortion. That's the point, Jinwoo said. You think destroying your uncle's empire protects her? I think making myself the bigger target does. Silence. Smart, the voice said. But not smart enough. What does that mean? It means we already have people on the way to Seattle. Jinwoo's blood went cold. You're lying. Am I? Check flight manifests. 2 men. Boarded an hour ago. Same flight as your girl. Jinwoo's hands shook. If you touch them. You'll what? You're already burning everything down. What else can you do? Jinwoo hung up. Called Marcus immediately. Change the route, he said. What? Don't go to Seattle. Go somewhere else. Anywhere else. Boss, the tickets are already. I don't care. Change it. Now. Where do you want them to go? Jinwoo thought fast. Vancouver. I have a contact there. Someone my uncle doesn't know about. That's across the border. We'd need. Figure it out. Jinwoo's voice was ice. Just keep them moving. He hung up. His phone rang again. His uncle. This time Jinwoo answered. You've lost your mind, his uncle said. Voice shaking with rage. No. I've lost everything else. This is all I have left. You think this ends well for you? I don't care how it ends for me. I care how it ends for them. They're already dead. You just don't know it yet. Then you'd better kill me first, Jinwoo said. Because if they die, I'll make sure you lose everything. Not just the business. Your name. Your legacy. Everything you've built in 40 years will turn to ash. His uncle laughed. You can't destroy me. Watch. Jinwoo hung up. Sent one final email. To every news outlet. Every competitor. Every federal agency that had been trying to build a case against his family for years. Subject line. The truth about the Han family. Attachments, everything. He hit send. Then he smashed the laptop. Threw it in a dumpster. Got in his car. And disappeared. The man vanished. But the war he started was just beginning. 3 years later. Vancouver looked different in winter. Jinwoo stood across the street from a small house with blue shutters. Snow covered the lawn. Christmas lights hung from the roof. He'd been watching for 20 minutes. Through the window he could see them. Amara in the kitchen. Apron on. Stirring something on the stove. The kids at the table. Bigger now. Older. David sat in the middle. Reading a book. glasses perched on his nose. Kira was drawing. Tongue stuck out in concentration. Marcus, the other Marcus, not his Marcus, was building something with blocks. They looked happy, safe, normal. Jinwoo's chest ached. He'd kept his distance for 3 years. Watched from afar. Made sure they had everything they needed without ever getting close enough to endanger them. The money he'd transferred kept them comfortable. Amara didn't work. Focused on the kids full-time. They went to good schools now. Had friends. Played sports. David was top of his class. Kira took dance lessons. Marcus played soccer. They were thriving. Without him, Jinwoo pulled his coat tighter against the cold. His phone buzzed. Marcus. His Marcus texting. Boss, you sure about this? Jinwoo typed back. I'm sure. You could knock. Just once. Jinwoo looked at the house again. David laughed at something. Amara ruffled his hair. Jinwoo's finger hovered over the keyboard. Then he typed no. This is better. He put the phone away. The war had ended 6 months after it started. His uncle's empire collapsed. Federal raids. Arrests. Frozen assets. Half the family went to prison. The other half scattered. His uncle died of a heart attack 3 weeks into his trial. Jinwoo watched it all from a distance. Hidden. The people who'd put a price on Amara's head were either dead or in custody. The threats were gone. But Jinwoo stayed away anyway. Because the threat was never just external. It was him. His name. His history. His choices. As long as he existed in their lives, someone would eventually use them to get to him. So he didn't exist. Changed his name. His face. His entire identity. Became a ghost. Worked quiet jobs. Stayed off the grid. Sent money through untraceable channels. Watched from shadows. And never got close. David came outside. Jinwoo's breath caught. The boy was 8 now. Tall for his age. Still had that same serious expression. He walked to the mailbox. Pulled out letters. Then he stopped. Looked across the street. Directly at Jinwoo. Jinwoo froze. Their eyes met. David tilted his head. Squinted. Jinwoo should have walked away. Should have turned. Should have left. But he didn't. David's expression shifted. Confusion turned to recognition. The boy took a step forward. Jinwoo shook his head. Small. Barely visible. David stopped. They stared at each other across the snowy street. Then David smiled. Not big. Not dramatic. Just a small, sad smile that said, I know. Jinwoo felt his throat close. David raised his hand. A small wave. Jinwoo raised his back. The front door opened. Amara's voice called out. David. Come inside. Dinner's ready. David looked back at the house. Then at Jinwoo one more time. He mouthed something. Jinwoo couldn't hear it. But he could read the shape of the words. Thank you. Then David turned and ran inside. The door closed. Jinwoo stood there. Hands shaking. Vision blurred. He walked away. Didn't look back. Got in his car 3 blocks over. Sat in the driver's seat. His phone buzzed again. Marcus, you okay? Jinwoo stared at the message. Typed he saw me. Marcus. What did he do? Jinwoo smiled through tears. He waved. Marcus. What are you going to do now? Jinwoo looked at the house one last time in his rearview mirror. Lights glowing warm against the dark. Family inside. Safe. Loved. Whole. He typed back, nothing. I'm going to do nothing. Marcus. That's probably smart. Jinwoo started the engine. Marcus. Where are you headed? Jinwoo thought about it. Nowhere specific. Nowhere permanent. Just away. Always away. Somewhere they'll never have to look over their shoulders, he typed. Marcus. Boss, they're safe now. The war's over. You could. Jinwoo deleted the message before finishing it. Couldn't read it. Couldn't let himself hope. Because hope was dangerous. Hope made you careless. And carelessness got people killed. He drove. Out of the city. Into the night. Radio off. Windows down. Cold air biting his face. And somewhere behind him, 3 kids sat at a dinner table. Eating. Laughing. Living. Growing up without fear. Without violence. Without him. David would ask about the man across the street eventually. Amara would probably lie. Say it was nobody. A stranger. And maybe that was true. Because Jinwoo wasn't their father anymore. He was a shadow. A memory. A story Amara might tell them someday when they were old enough to understand. About a man who loved them enough to disappear. Who chose their safety over his own happiness. Who walked away so they could run free. And in the rearview mirror, the city lights faded. Jinwoo wiped his face, kept driving, and accepted the only truth that mattered. They were alive, thriving, safe, and that was the only ending he allowed himself.